each other's mental space. If you ever need me, just call. I'ma come running, give it my all. Love is love, God wins. Keep your vibrations high and watch how your blessings. Why do you deny me? You chose the lie created for you just to hide in. Why obsessed about surviving? Fighting over creation made for all to thrive in. When love speaks, you say you're listening. I wonder if you hear me. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced the right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love. Was your heart ever my home? So cold that chaos sits on your throne. Stuck in a loop for how long? Your pride convinced that right is wrong. When I speak, you say you're listening. When will you ever hear me? Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love, love is love. Always is, always was, will always be just love. Always complete, always enough. Love is love.
How's everybody doing out there? I hope everybody's doing good, feeling great.
If someone says I told you so, then what is destiny? 'Cause if I know, then I can show the very best of me. Dividing lines, dividing times, sometimes not our choosing.
The warrior princess is
If we
back.
want more, we should explore. There will be no losing. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. It's inside you, shining day and night. If someone says I know the way, should we just go follow? Or do the ones who take the lead end up feeling hollow? Blurring lines and blurring time, times. This is what they're doing. 'Cause if we know inside our hearts, then it's worth pursuing. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. It's inside you, shining day and night.
Yeah. I'm on the wrong page. I'm wondering why people not coming in. This page shadow banned. I'm wondering, I'm looking, I'm like, yo, why is numbers not coming in here? Usually it'd be X amount of numbers in here already.
Told me once before, just to let it be. Now that I know, I get to show the very best of me. Uniting lines, uniting times. This is what we're choosing. We're getting more of what we're for. Love is what we're using. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. Let love guide you. Let love be the light. Let love guide you.
Oh, yeah.
Let love be
No,
the
my nails come out like that. They just look like
It's
that.
in-
Like, my nails just grow in that French tip look. You see? They just grow like that with the white at the top. They just grow and they square it off like that. I don't know how. Like, they just grow squared off like that. Now, I ain't gonna lie. I used to, go ahead and do the whole that nail coat thing, like to harden your nails, because my nails are so soft. So I used to do that, like to try to, but I could never get them to grow around my finger. Like they always come out boxed, except for my pinky. My pinky comes out like that, but the rest of them come out squared and boxed. They fragile. They easily break. Today we're going to talk about consciousness. That's what we're going to talk about today. Consciousness, the frequency of it. Before we get into it, there is some stuff though, like because you guys don't really know what consciousness is. Consciousness is energy, consciousness is frequency. We'll get into all of that. But before we get into all of that, there is some projects that took place, like I guess the path to global coherence, the road to global consciousness. So they have been measuring our consciousness, so to speak. So they've been measuring consciousness, and this is recent studies that show they've been doing this. So right here, this tells you about research library, the public of global coherence, the path to global coherence, right? Through the measurement of our consciousness, right? So they've been measuring consciousness in different locations. So devices are set up to measure this consciousness. And like if you remember the movie like World at War, or not World at War, at World's End, or The Day the Earth Stood Still, they had these global orbs that was all over the place. These global orbs was measuring the conscious level of, all of us, right? So they have this measurement of consciousness, and this is why I say consciousness is very important, right? Who you align yourself with is very important, right? What you align yourself with is very important, right?
The Global Coherence Initiative, GCI, is a science-based, international effort that conducts research on interactions and interconnectivity between human consciousness and the Earth's magnetic and energetic field environment, with the intention of promoting peace and harmony. This is measured by several interrelated initiatives, including the Global Coherence Monitoring System, the Global Tree Potential Monitoring System, the Global Coherence App, and citizen science projects. The newest addition to GCI is the Global Consciousness Project 2.0, which generates data from a globally distributed network of random number generators, RNGs. RNGs are designed to produce unpredictable sequences of 0 and 1 bits, but they exhibit coherent behavior among each other when there is coherent attention or emotion across humanity. This has been established by the original Global Consciousness Project. GCP2. 0 is extending this research with a larger, more sensitive network of 4,000 RNGs, advanced technology, and fundamental measurements of quantum random processes.
So right now our consciousness is being measured, and they have measurements of it. They determine, based off of this color system, significantly small network variations suggest a deep shared, internally motivated group focus index is above, right? So it's telling you the measurement of the consciousness. Welcome to the Global Consciousness Project. This is a real-time data analyst of the Global Consciousness Project. It collects the data of each minute and runs statistics on the stream of random numbers generated by the project. This analyst is ran by 10 minutes behind the generator of the data. In this way, it can be seen as a real-time indicator of global consciousness, right? So this is based off how the measurements work, how they are determining the measurements of consciousness, and they can determine by measuring consciousness at this level. They can determine whether we are on a good path or whether we're on, the path to the abyss, right? So they are measuring this consciousness globally in different levels, right? And they are the data's coming back. So many people is operating like this, so many people is operating like that, right? All these different, systems. And this is why I say, like, the time of the gathering is now. The time of we are rising in consciousness, the ascension process that's taking place, everything that's happening within inside of us, so on and so forth.
The Global Consciousness Project collects random numbers from around the world. These numbers are available on the GCP website. This website downloads those numbers once a minute and performs sophisticated analysis on these random numbers to see how coherent they are. That is, we compute how random the random numbers coming from the eggs really are. The theory is that the global consciousness of all beings of the planet affect these random numbers. Maybe they aren't quite as random as we thought. The probability time window is 1 and 2 hours, with the display showing the more coherent of the two. For more information on the algorithm, you can read about it on the GCP Basic Science PA.
So that's where you can go check it out, the measurement of it. So we're going to get into consciousness. What is consciousness? Break it down, so on and so forth. But as you can see, leading scientists are studying, measuring consciousness. Way back in the biblical days, they had an understanding for what was Israel's consciousness, and they had to give that consciousness a group. Today's titles for these levels of consciousness would be religion, right? So each religion is based off of a group of a collective conscious, right? So all of these titles that people are holding are based off of groups that formed a collective consciousness, entailed with feelings and emotions, because this is when your feelings and emotions are aligned also, right? So it says significant large network variation suggested broadly shared coherence of thought and emotions, right? So this is telling you that we link. All this is telling you that we link together, right? Consciously, emotionally, right? So when you're trauma bonding with people, they're linking to your emotions.
Significantly small network variance. Suggestive of deeply shared, internally motivated group focus. The index is above 95%. Small network variance. Probably chance fluctuation. The index is between 90% and 95%. Normally random network variance. This is average or expected behavior. The index is between 40% and 90%. Slightly increased network variance. Probably chance fluctuation. The index is between 10% and 40%. Strongly increased network variance. Maybe chance fluctuation, with the index between 5% and 10%. Significantly large network variance. Suggests broadly shared coherence of thought and emotion. The index is less than 5%. These colors can fade between each other, so it's possible to have, for example, yellow-orangish and green-yellowish colors. Please don't strongly interpret the dot.
So part of this measurement is part of what you see in that Schumann resonator and so on and so forth. So when you see these colors in the resonator, this is what you want to, remember. If you see a red on the Schumann resonator is high, all the other colors is low, then that means people are aligning their feelings and emotions more than anything than they are logical thought or critical thinking, right? People are aligned to feelings and emotions more than they are logical thought, more than they are critical thinking, more than they are, solution based, right? So now we're going to get into what is consciousness, because if they are measuring this, right, then we need to know about it, right? Because it is talking about morphogenetic field, right? And the morphogenetic field, whether we want to believe it or not, could possibly be playing a role in gravity bigger than what we thought. Now, initially, they told us gravity was based off of the size of the planet. And because our planet had such a unique size, it was able to hold gravity. However you look at it, it was able to keep the atmosphere down and all of this other stuff, according to the earth science books that they gave us, in 95, 96, 97, whatever the case may be. So now we have to really break down consciousness. What is consciousness? How it affects the body. And if anybody wants to look this up, study it, go study the laws of vibration, right? These are the cosmic laws, or the laws of the cosmos. And one of them is the laws of vibration. The laws of vibration strongly breaks down consciousness, how it works, and how it connects all of us. Okay.
It is a natural biological process for all human beings to have the ability to evolve and to expand consciousness, which increases levels of sentience. What is consciousness? Consciousness is energy, and energy is conscious. They are both interchangeable. All energy is intelligent. Our soul and monadic spiritual body is consciousness and therefore intelligent energy. Everything has an energetic signature and is composed of spectrum of frequency arranged in form holding blueprints called morphogenetic fields.
So as we get into, the breakdown of all of this, we get into some deeper things, right? I want you to understand like the social experience or experiment that is going on around the measurement of consciousness, right? So if one is measuring consciousness, they are finding that the operation of love spikes the consciousness to enormous levels, right? So they find out, when everybody wanted to go help, some of these events, when people, had compassion in their heart for these commercials that used to come on. Remember, they used to play like Gerber commercials. They used to play like pet commercials. They used to play like, for 70 cents a day, you can, and this put everybody in a sadness, but it also made you want to help. Like the love that people were spreading in that mixture, it was, it was spiking the measurements of consciousness when people were trying to help each other and trying to, be a service to others without wanting anything back in return, it was spiking the measurements, right? So they found out when we operate on kindness, when we operate on, being charitable, so on and so forth, they find that there's a spike in the global consciousness when we are operating on goodness, wanting good for each other, wanting to do for each other, right? Now, previously in the past, this spike might have responded differently, right? The measurements of it in the past might have shown that the world was operating on lower vibrational feelings and emotions. So they was pushing us in feelings and emotions. But now they're finding a spike in the highest vibrational frequency, which is love and knowledge, right? So the more knowledge we put back into this world, the more love we show for each other, the more compassion we have for each other, the more kindness we show for each other, the faster we ascend into a 5D verse collectively. But we have to get there with conscious first, right? So right now we are in a conscious battle, right? There's a battle for Earth's consciousness, right? That includes all of us. So when somebody say you're not important, you say bullshit, bullshit, right? When somebody say you don't matter, you say bullshit, bullshit, because you understand that we are energy, and all things that are energy have intelligence, right? You are an intellectual being sharing this human experience. Do not let the human experience outweigh your intellectual multi-beingness, right? So these are things that are happening inside and outside of your body right now. The outside experience is only 10% of actually what's going on inside. Inside, greater things are happening.
Energy is consciousness, and it either contracts or expands to maintain or increase its frequency rate. The process of how fast or slow energy contracts back towards its center point of source field is the vibration rate. The process of how fast or slow that same energy expands away from the center point of the source field is the oscillation rate. The combination of both the pattern of vibration, contraction, and oscillation, expansion, speed is what determines the frequency rate of all energy and things. As our personal, collective, and planetary consciousness raises frequency, the matter world, including our physical bodies.
You notice they said speed, right? You notice it says speed is what determines the frequency rate of all energy and things, right? Speed, right? So, they have determined that our vibrational frequency within inside of our vessels was too high at one point. It was moving at a high speed, right? So they had to figure out how to slow down the high frequency vibrational rate of the energy that is accumulating inside the vessels of mankind. This is where the break fast comes in. Yes, you pronounce it breakfast, but if you look at the spelling that's in the word, it is break fast, because it is breaking your fast vibrational frequency of your life water and the energy that exists within inside your body, right? So they have put certain variations of things in place to stop your consciousness, and you have to be determined or have the will to have the discipline over your vessel, over the duality of things down here, and become stronger than the body, right? Remember, the flesh is weak, right? So therefore you have to become of mind and spirit, all right? And that's consciousness.
Bodies also becomes less dense as our frequency increases. Consciousness energy, law of vibration, consists of and is interconnected, providing a distinct vibratory pattern, and is immediately transmitted and received, with no concept of space or time when released into the universe. Consciousness vibration is not limited to time and space. Vast amount of qualities of vibrational frequency exist as an ever-present consciousness layer that exists in the entire universe. Everything in our universe consists of layers of vibrational frequency.
Let me just get that.
If the rate of that vibration falls below or rises above a certain intensity, it becomes immeasurable or invisible to the basic human senses. This means it is beyond the capacity of the 5 basic senses, such as frequency rates outside of the visible light spectrum. That doesn't mean that vibration or frequency doesn't exist because you cannot sense it. The first thing that is important to understand is that all that exists, whether seen or unseen, broken down into its simplest and most basic form of energy, which consists of a rate of vibration, oscillation, and then rate of frequency.
Now, we're going to take a song break, but we're going to get into the measurements, right? Not the measurements, but the ascension process. This is where, chakras, excuse me, this is where chakras come in, kundalini energy comes in, acoustic records come in. You can't get to none of this stuff until you first admit that there's a consciousness inside of you, until you first admit that you are, there's something inside of you that's greater than he who is in this world, right? When you come to these realizations, then you grow in a different manner of self, right? This is when you accept your consciousness instead of saying that you are, a subconscious being. You accept the fact that you're a conscious being. And they tell you this all the time because one thing they tell you in a lot of these, classes and stuff, to be aware is to be alive, right? So when you are aware of things, you are more alive than anything. So knowledge is key. Knowledge is power. Y'all make sure y'all get them likes up. All right. Get them likes up.
Welcome everyone before it's over and we're done. You know that I need them in the bush behind them trees. We give it to you freely, please. Baby, don't you tease. Get them likes up. Get them likes up. Time to raise the likes up. Get them to 100% for the Alice Fam event. Likes up, likes up. Get them likes up. Time to raise them likes up. Get them to 100%. It's the Alice Fam event. Cause I know y'all wanna see it. Yeah.
Talk to
I
'em.
know you wanna see it. Say you wanna see it. Yeah, I know you wanna see it. I know you wanna see it. Say you wanna see it. I know you wanna see it. Yeah, we say we need them. Cause it's no more freebies. You came here to see me, please. Baby, don't you tease. Get them likes up. Get them likes up. Time to raise the likes up. Get them to 100% for the Alice family. Likes up. Get them likes up.
People will be looking.
Time to raise the likes up. Get them to 100%. It's the Alice family.
Belittle yourself. Like all of this, they will rather be
Get them likes up. Get them likes up. Time to raise the likes up. Get them to 100% for the Alice Fam event. Likes up. Likes up. Get them likes up. Likes up. Get them likes up. Get them to 100%. It's the Alice Fam event. Likes up. Get them likes up. Time to raise the likes up. Get them to 100%. It's the Alice Fam event.
So yeah, so we get into this.
Welcome everyone.
When you get into this, we get into developing conscious, ascension study, right? Now, this is part of the ascension process, and this was one of those things that, the depiction of Christ argued for, right? The Christ said that in the time of ascension, right? This is what Christ argued for. He said, when this new times come, when the time of ascension is upon us, right? Do not let it be a fight, right? This is what he begged for. right? He begged for us not to be in argument with one another, not to be in, not argument, because arguments happen all the time, that's just, but not to be at conflict, right? When you're building, conflict is different. When engaging in coercing or debating is different. But with the energy that people are building right now, the negative, let's say there's forces unknown and forces unseen, and the good in you, has a higher version of you that is competing for your soul in a different dimension. And based off of the energy that you are accumulating, that's what is giving this spiritual version of you the ability to fight, right? Think of it like the video game Fable, right? Based off your deeds and your merits and your actions, it determines what abilities your spirit can fight with, right? So if you pushing out negative, if you pushing out low vibration, if you going around cursing people out, guess what? You ain't giving your spirit nothing to fight with. Oh, you giving the demons inside of you something to fight with, and they kicking ass. But if you ain't generating good thoughts, if you ain't generating good deeds, then you ain't giving them angelic beings inside of you nothing to fight with. They just sitting there, trying to ask you for their weapons back, asking you like, hey, we can't use these nunchucks. Can you give us a little bit of love? Can you give us a little bit of kindness? We can use that. Can you give us a little bit of generosity? We can use that. Can you give us some compassion? We can use that. Right? And one of the strongest things that they use is knowledge. So when you seek all the knowledge for your kingdom of heaven, you're putting the right tools into the right people's hands. See, right now, the wrong people got the right tools. And when I say people, I'm going back to the Latin word persona. Persona means mask. What are you masking? You're masking all of the energies that are inside your vessel. Y'all make sure y'all donate the knowledge and wisdom and understanding, okay? They trying to block us out the world, but y'all make sure y'all keep on supporting knowledge and wisdom and understanding. If it ain't me, support somebody else that got the knowledge and wisdom and understanding. I would love for you guys to support me. I would love to, see that green app popping up on my phone, ring, ring, ringing. You know what I mean? The information is at the bottom of the screen. I'm pretty sure the mods are, putting it in the comment section. So, make sure y'all, knowledge and wisdom go a long way. $5-10 go a long way
When we
too.
say ascension and we're moving forward in terms of our developing consciousness, in actuality, what we are doing is connecting to our spiritual energetic intelligence and then integrating that intelligence by descending our divinity into our physical bodies. So actually the ascension is a descension of our spiritual energetic bodies, which is almost in reverse of what we actually think it means. We are ascending in our consciousness, but we actually are descending that intelligent energy, what could be described as our divinity, into the physical vehicle. So, our actual goal in ascension stages is to, with our intention and consent, to participate and connect with higher, more refined vibrating aspects of ourselves. So, when we think of our soul, our monad oversoul, and these aspects of spiritual energetic identity, this is where the understanding of the cosmology of dimensions and dimensional frequency spectrum are brought into conscious awareness. When we understand the color wave spectrum of each dimension and use our chakras as a foundational model, that helps us to understand what the 7 primary chakras function actually are. We can start with those 7 dimensions, of which there is a plane of reality that we as a soul intelligence exist upon or have an aspect of our God self. We actually have an intelligence and an aspect of ourself in simultaneous time that is existing on that particular plane of reality. So the ascension is literally a descension or collecting of those spiritual energetic fragments, or other identities of ourselves, as we merge them into this moment of self that we're sharing now. We are actually merging with those multidimensional consciousness identities into this local identity, in this moment of self and time. As we move up the consciousness scale, we access higher and more refined levels of our creative intelligence forces and our mind matrix. The process of ascension is liberating our incarnation from the lower form worlds of manifestation, which is what this particular time/space of Earth reality is considered. It is considered a lower form world, and again with no value or judgment, but in terms of understanding that there are lower form worlds,
Love you enough to tell
mid-creational
you
realms,
everything I
and
know
higher
about the
creational
world
realms.
and more.
Here, we are existing within the harmonic universal structure of the Earth that is the densest possible reality and is being controlled. This is as dense as one can experience in a spiritual energetic form. So, ascension is not just another spiritual concept. The term of ascension is used hand in hand with developing consciousness, understanding consciousness as intelligent energy, participation with our soul evolution, the many tiers of the awakening process, becoming soul-infused benevolent and compassionate personalities on Earth. Ascension is also a literal, tangible scientific process of the evolution of consciousness and biology within specific laws and energy mechanics that apply to a multidimensional reality system. 1.
So it's not about religion, because consciousness is not just tied to the title of religion or, you know, consciousness is tied to everything. So whether they want to, whether scientists want to separate or not, they cannot separate. In order for them to greatly achieve anything that they want to achieve, they have to admit that consciousness is connected to spirituality. Spirituality is connected to consciousness and the frequency and the energy of all things, right? The reason why they can't even, quantum theorize a lot of stuff is because the mathematics is off, because they're taking consciousness out of the equation. You can't separate from consciousness. Huh? You can't separate from consciousness. Christ is a title. Christ is a title given by mankind. Before there was Christ consciousness, there was Israel's consciousness. And Israel gave a voice to their consciousness. So consciousness was here before we had this title of Christ. What is it? Oh, you can't do nothing about that. No, actually, strong minds seek answers in God because God is inside of you. Weak minds seek answers outside of their self. Weak minds gather with people outside of their self. Weak minds go with the crowd, right? So when you actually realize he who is in you is greater than he who is in the world, then you will seek answers to the God that is in you. So weak minds don't go to God for answers. Strong minds go to God for answers. Weak minds go to man for answers. And that's probably why you would rather take, your lead from mankind, because you're a weak-minded person that follows the lead. You don't follow what's inside of you. You follow what's on the outside of you. You follow when in Rome, do as the Romans. That's what you follow. It's a difference. So before you start coming in here and trying to tear down strong-minded people that believe in something greater than their self, check yourself at the door. Okay? Appreciate you. Now let that hurricane hit you.
Consistent meditation practice is helpful in training an undisciplined and cluttered mind to develop higher consciousness. Meditation can be applied in many different techniques, and is helpful for facilitating forgiveness and letting go of negativity in many forms. In the early stages of developing meditation skill, sit and relax and learn to observe thoughts passing through without having attachment to them. Once you notice the thought pattern, let it go and bring your focus back to the now moment. 2. Inquire on beliefs. Motivation influences perception, perception influences beliefs, beliefs influence actions. Motivations, perceptions, beliefs,
Not see Lucy, do not want to be bothered
actions.
today.
The three major motivation problems to overcome in the Buddhist tradition are greed, anger, and delusion. If these constitute much of your motivation, then your perceptions, beliefs, and actions can be twisted. This is a good model to help with understanding ourselves better as well as the motivation of others around us.
So this is telling you to practice this on a daily day basis, right? You're supposed to have variations of discipline over your mind. Meditation is not something that you sit, oh, I got to sit and da 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 da. No, meditation is prayer, right? Prayer and meditation connects you to your higher self, right? And the Bible says that you're supposed to pray with inside yourself at all times. This means you're supposed to meditate with inside yourself at all times, right? Everything is a form of meditation. Everything that you practice, when you practice having a stern heart for something, when you ask for the strength to bite your tongue. I just seen, S.M. Pokey ask for, the ability to, deliver things properly, right? So this is meditation. Meditation is slowing down your mind, not taking that first rational thought, not responding out of feelings and emotions, but actually saying, okay, what is the best logical, thing to do, right? So this is the battlefield of the mind. Your mind is the ultimate battlefield, your responses and how you respond to things does change the world. It does make a difference.
Prayer and meditation connect us to higher intelligence and have positive impacts on calming our mind. Prayer focuses on positive emotions like love, gratitude, and compassion, which allow goodness in our lives and the lives of those we pray for. Meditation reduces anxiety, stress, and depression, which helps us to find and connect to peaceful states. Being mindful improves our mental flexibility, brain elasticity, and keeps neurons active. Spiritually centering ourselves on peace, prayer, and contemplation of God/universe helps us maintain our trust in life, faith, and relaxes every part of the body. 2.
Now, in 2025, because we got to bring this up to a 2025 understanding, right? In 2025, we do this. We just don't know how we do this. And I'm going to explain to you how we do this, right? A lot of times nowadays, when someone wants to ease their mind or, they give in to their addictions, right? So one might use some level of drug or substance in order to ease their mind or take their mind off of the worries, doubt, scared, trauma, all of that stuff, right? So in 2025, this is a way that a lot of people are using it, right? But they have even implemented lower vibrational things within that method, right? So they created downers, right? Everybody wants to be on a downer, right? You're not realizing what energy this downer is creating or accumulating. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate the follow. Let me give you a follow back. So a lot of things are ugly right now. A lot of things are ugly right now. This is why you have to discipline thy mind. Discipline thy mind. You see people right now not having control over their mental, not having control over their mind. You see a lot of people losing it.
Discipline mind.
Crashing out, we call it.
Consistent meditation practice is helpful in training an undisciplined and cluttered mind. Meditation can be applied in many different techniques, and is helpful for facilitating forgiveness and letting go of negativity in many forms. In the early stages of developing meditation skill, sit and relax and learn to observe thoughts passing through without having attachment to them. Once you notice the thought pattern, let it go and bring your focus back to the now moment. 3.
Bad little cat. You the bad little cat. So yeah, so you got to meditate. You meditate on, motivations, you meditate on perceptions, meditate on beliefs, and you meditate on your actions. So you're supposed to meditate on all these things. Don't feed the house of ego. So one of the ways to definitely disrupt your meditations is feeding the house of ego. And people feed their ego all the time. I mean, people meditate on their ego, you know, and that's a problem. Perception is everything. So when you feed the ego, when you feed these houses of ego, you disrupt spirituality, you disrupt your true growth. People tell you, yo, you got to be hard in this world. Don't give nobody nothing. Don't be nice to these people. Da 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 da. This is what they go around and tell you. They're practicing ways of hardening up your heart so you can't, ascend, so you can't grow. Hey, stop it. Stop it. You better stop. You want to be bad? What? You want to get down and be bad? See? Okay. Now I'm gonna turn you upside down.
Sometimes she'll let you do it, but she's so curious.
Yeah, I'm gonna turn you upside down. Okay. Go. Go be bad. Look at her trying to get to Loki.
Yep.
Creeping up on him. Look.
Yep, she's a stalker.
Loki's gonna skibbity pap her.
Yes, yes.
Don't say that. Don't try to say that. You know what? I ain't even gonna read.
She just dramatically fell on the floor like.
Your body goes through a natural, monthly meditation. I think you guys call it a menstrual cycle.
What is most important now is to relax the body and mind through daily meditation, and to clear negative ego, emotional pain, stay calm and neutral. Pure alchemy exists within the energetic balance of the core spiritual essence within the natural state of the divine being. To connect with inner spiritual alchemy, one must extract the artificial machinery influences and intentionally remove the houses of ego that may have been programmed within the self. As we are opening into states of consciousness in the trans-time continuum, consider to conceive of unity consciousness through meditation by expansion of space and within infinity in time. In meditation, focus upon perpetual presence in all time and space. Perpetual presence in dreaming and waking states combining into oneness. In accessing memory of perpetual presence, all dread vanishes. Attempt to reach neutrality in mind towards all existing things. Neutrality is neither love, hate nor indifference. Hold mentally the capacity of sameness, equilibrium, and constant calm. This discipline attracts and increases the virtues of the spirits of Christ. This acquires the virtue of benevolence
Getting
towards
thick.
all things.
My face getting too thick.
Seek improvement in one's humanity and spiritual expression without praise or blame, or victim-victimizer archetypes.
Spiritual.
4.
Then I gotta grow this all the way down like that, and then braid it. Like that. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna braid it. Braid all of this. Just have this all the way down here. It's gonna look tough. I gotta start taking better care of it. All right, so we do have a natural, monthly cycle, and men go through this too. A lot of times you don't know you're going through it. You naturally feel like you have to push out some type of you just feel it, and you go through it. I don't know what's wrong. You're going through it. You're fighting through this on the inside. Sometimes it takes place with the idea of bills, right? Like your bills piled up. You say, I know what it is. It's because all these bills is, coming out. All this is happening at, you know what I mean? So on and so forth. And it happens, even to those who are rich and have no type of, problems or whatever the case may be. It happens, you know. Give yourself a list, put together a list, monthly meditation, so on and so forth. Uh
Where can I start? We realize that there is so much variety in the individual ascension stages, and our material compiled here may be overwhelming to navigate. Please take in only what feels right for you and discard the rest. However, we have some quick suggestions on how to begin right now. Take a 30-day challenge with the 12D shield and refocusing your ego mind and see the results you get with daily use. The following is important information and steps to introduce you to the ES material and provide tools to utilize right away. Please browse and try out all the material as you feel guided. However, please note, the Ascension material is densely packed with information and often overwhelming for people newly acquainting with these terms. Take it in at your own pace. However, remain consistent and dedicated with your practice and you will experience many improvements, such as in mental and emotional freedom. Activate your 12D shield as a daily practice meditation. Clear negative ego fear programs.
Happening all at once.
Mental discipline through devoted focus and meditation to expand consciousness. Resolve emotional conflicts in the pain body. ES Core Triad Daily Techniques.
Now, this is the the pain body, right? Recognizing these energies in the pain body is basically that whole trauma bonding thing, trying to stay out of trauma bonding, trying to stay out of conversations that are low vibrational. And this is what I employ everyone to practice this for 30 days and see how you feel, see how your environment changes around you, right? Stay out of low vibrational conversation. If someone's argumentative, if someone's combatant, try to curve it, try to get around it, as nicely as possible without, hashing out any low vibrational words with that person. I did this for 3 years. For 3 years, when someone asked me what was, what's, how we greet each other, how's everything going? Good. I'm okay. I'm making it, all of these, could be better. You know what I mean? All of these things we say, I just practice just saying, I'm great. I'm great. When someone says have a good day, I always tell everybody, have a great day. That's my response. Have a great day. I'm great. Have a great day. I'm great. And I said this for the longest time, no matter how my life was going, right? I'm telling people I'm great. I'm great. Right. And I say that because this comes with the practice of, this is repetition, if you would say, So you're repping yourself. You're giving repetitions to yourself, right? So you want to practice this. Everything is a muscle. Everything needs a workout, right? So if you are, practicing kindness, if you're practicing this, you're working that muscle out. You're working that out. If you're practicing, the good thought, the good response, you're working that out, right? Everything is a workout. Everything is a muscle. Everything is a machine. Your body is a vehicle, right? You got to learn how to operate your vehicle, learn the ins and outs of your vehicle, so you can maneuver properly, right? Now, a lot of people don't practice this stuff. That's why it's a rarity. When you see somebody practicing it, you appreciate it more because you don't see it in the world, right? So when someone just, randomly comes up and pays you a compliment, you're like, damn, that was strange. You feel good about it, but because you don't see it in the world, you thinking, what was that about? Why they do that? Why? I remember, I was in Atlantic City one time and I seen this person that seemed like they were having a hard time. You see the people that's on the floors and you see them look like they struggling, like they just trying to get enough for the night so they can just go home, go somewhere and sleep. And I seen this lady, it looked like a mom and her daughter. And, I seen them on the machines and they were like, complaining about, who used the last little bit of money for whatever machine or whatever the case may be. So I just went over and I gave them both $20 a piece. Like, here you go. Y'all have a great day. And I go to walk away and the mom like jumps out the seat and like, what's that for? What will you give us that for? And I'm like, what? Like, I'm just a random act of kindness, trying to go about my business. You know what I mean? And she's like, no, we don't want it. Nothing in life comes free. Something's not right. I'm like, what? So like, she gave me the 20s back, but when I went and put it in their machines, like when I put it in their machines, they were like, oh, if we win, we're not sharing, or you know what I mean? Something like that. Like, but I'm like, okay, like I'm just giving y'all this shit. Like, so I go and put it in their machines and then I walk away. It's like after I put it in their machines, like it's yours now. You know what I mean? So I hurried up and put it in their machines. Like, here you go. You know what I mean? Don't try to take away my act of kindness. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to diminish my act of kindness. You're trying to downplay my act of kindness. You know what I mean? Like you're trying to put a stank on my act of kindness. You know what I mean? So like I was determined not to let them put that stink on my act of kindness. I'm like, nah, here. You know what I mean? Like basically like shoved it in their machines and ran off type shit. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that. If someone just gives you a random act of kindness, you know what I mean? Like it's not to take pity on you. I shouldn't have to explain because I seen that you were struggling or I seen you going through something. No, this is my random act of kindness. Don't knock my random act of kindness. Don't knock my love for humanity. Don't knock my compassion. Don't knock. See, a lot of times we question the compassion. We question the love. You know what I mean? But we don't question the fuckery in the world. We don't question, all of this scamming that's going on, this grifting that's going on. We don't question that stuff. But when someone does something kind, it's like, what you do that for? You ain't asked that to the person who, pretended to want to give you a ride somewhere to get your number. You ain't asked that to the person who, paid your bills to get in your drawers. You ain't asking that to that person. So why when somebody come with a random act of kindness, they get so many questions? You ain't questioning the person that's paying your bills for the cootie cat. But you're going to question the person that comes with kindness and a random act, and they get the fifth degree. They get the why? How? Why? Make it make sense. Come on. We got to do the things that make sense in this world. I want to do the things that make sense in this world, So we fear the light more than the darkness, truly. Yeah, you're right. We do. So yeah, you gotta watch these different keep your levels of intelligence up. You know what I mean? Compress the first three chakras. Compressing the first three chakras is hard because this is where your fight or flight is. This is where your low vibrational self is. This is where your survival is. This is where your, What's going on, Lady Letitia? Appreciate you for stopping through. This is where your survival is. This is where you're, I don't care about nobody but, my household. This is where, we got to make it by any means necessary. This is where, prejudice lies, you putting your people over the, other people, so on and so forth. So in those three lower levels or densities of yourself, there's a lot of things that one would have to overcome, right? So this is where you become better than yourself. You realize, I want best. I want better for myself, so therefore I want better for you. I want to see you in a better place. I want to see you in a better light. I want to see you in a better position in life. I want to see you at the top. I want to see you. You know what I mean? In order for me to want that for myself, I have to want that for you. Nothing comes to me without wanting it for someone else. And the reason why I say that is because I love myself enough to understand that I have to love everyone else more. Right? Because I had to come to a grander understanding inside myself first. And that's truly, magnificent within inside itself. So I love other people more, for they haven't reached that point inside their self yet. Right? I love other people more because they didn't overcome it. See, when I was in prison, I used to feed people out of my box. Right? I had 2 boxes, both of them was full of food. Right? But I knew my level of consumption, right? I knew I can make it, right? But for the other people that was around that didn't have commissary coming in, so on and so forth, I don't know their hunger pains. I don't know what level of, hunger they're in, right? I don't know if they can make it to breakfast the next day, so on and so forth. So I would feed other people out my box because I knew that I can make it. Does that make sense? A lot of y'all worry about yourself so much because you don't think you can make it. See, if you knew you can make it, you'll spend more time worried about everybody else because you already know you can make it. It becomes a second nature to you, right? The reason why I care so much for other people, because I know I'm going to make it. If the lights go out, if shit hit the fan, if it goes left, I'm going to make it. So I don't spend my time or my mental worried about myself, because no matter what this universe throws at me, guess what? I'm gonna make it. Huh? Sometimes you got to tell yourself you gonna make it. So whether you say it out loud right now, say it with inside yourself, or type it in the comment section, I need y'all to say, I'm gonna make it. I need y'all to tell yourself that. I need y'all to tell yourself right now, in this moment, you gonna make it. I don't see nobody saying they gonna make it. Oh, all y'all feel like y'all ain't gonna make it? You gonna make it? I know you gonna make it. I know that's right. Huh? I'm gonna make it better. Huh? I'm gonna make a way. Huh? I'm gonna make it. You could put anything on the end of that. You're gonna make it better. You're gonna make a way. Matter of fact, look, we gotta get the shirts. Shirt on the front of the shirt, say I'm gonna make it. On the back of the shirt, put something that, you know what I mean, that people gonna make it. Oh, you always made a way. Absolutely. Build different. Absolutely. There was times some of us was sleeping in cars. Look at us now. There was times some of us ain't have a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of. Look at us now. Trouble don't last always, Trouble don't last always. It's something that you step in, that you get it up off you, Troubles, hard times, sadness, depression, all of that is something that you step in, but you get it up off you. Huh? You get it up off you. Sometimes you might have to wash it off. Sometimes you might have to rinse it off. Sometimes you can't just wipe it off, But the universe gave you something so powerful that it doesn't matter what this world put on you. It don't matter what this world put on you. We are growing and advancing in levels that they never thought we would reach. We are building and growing and reaching achievements that they never thought we'll get to. You know, they're in the mindset of a conflict. We not. They fighting. We not. They wondering why they can't get us involved because we don't want that no more. We want unity. You know, give us unity or give us peace. That's what we want. We don't want to keep fighting each other. We don't want to keep going back and forth with each other. We don't want to keep give us unity or give us peace. You know, sometimes I'm pretty good with the keyboard. It's just my wrist from having it down like that. I need that little bubble pad to lift your wrist up. Hey, I'm like Kendrick Lamar, you know what I mean? I love peace, but war ready. You know what I mean? I love peace, but I'm war ready. So, and I think a lot of us are like that. You know what I mean? We love peace, but don't come at us with the shit. Because then I gotta show you I'm with the shit, and I don't like showing people I'm with the shit. You know what I mean? So if you with the shit, don't come try to find out if I'm with the shit, because the shit I'm with, you might not be with. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? My levels is not your levels. I don't fight fair. I don't play. I fight different. I fight different. That's why I expose people. Hit them with the truth, because I'm standing in my truth. I'm standing in my light. I'm fathering kids that's not mine biologically, and I'm loving it. You know what I mean? I'm taking care of family. I'm we out here on the farm, like I'm standing in my truth, and I'm loving it. No matter how hard it is, no matter how stressful it get, no matter how I wake up in the morning, I go feed bacon. I might be frustrated, I might be sick, I might be down and out, but guess what? I'm gonna go do it. Why? Because the universe gave me the ability to do it. It's some people that don't got their arms and legs and so on and so forth. For all you able-bodied people that's running around out there complaining and shit, shut up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody that's functional, able to do shit and complaining, shut up. You know what I'm saying? For the motherfuckers that's out there running the streets and doing all types of dumb shit and complain, shut up. At this point, a lot of people need to just shut up, because it ain't making no sense. It ain't making no sense. Okay? You able to do something, you functional, do the shit. Do the shit. That's why listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. You can ask the people around me. You can ask the people around me. How much do I ask them to do? They'll be like, well, sometimes he asks me to wash the dishes, but I don't ask people to do. I'm going to get up and do that shit myself. The universe gave me a fully functional vessel. I'm going to use that motherfucker. Room. I keep this motherfucker started up, ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Is you ready to go? I'm ready to go. You know what I mean? I get up in the morning. If it's dishes in the sink, I make sure, let me get these dishes out the sink, right? I go feed the animals, right? Go check on a couple of things, try to do a couple of lives here and there, squeeze like a live in for 2 hours, 3 hours. If it's a rainy day, you might get me for a longer period of time, doing lives or playing a game. But I'm gonna go outside and try to get some stuff done, figure out where these damn chickens is laying all these eggs and shit. You know what I mean? We got lamb that we can sell. I got freezers full of lamb around here. You know what I mean? Just work with me, people. Work with me. Hit them apps one time. Hit the CC, the PP, Yeah, CA. That's why I say a lot of people don't want to support this and don't want to help this because they know this is something great. This is something that you can lean on to. This is, like a rock, can I come up? Yes, you can come up. Who was that? You can come up. Anybody can come up that want to come up. Just know that you're being heard on multiple platforms. How do you know for a fact that they never existed? There's no actual burial of any of these people that are in the biblical text. In fact, once tourists started going to certain locations, the people of that area depicted certain areas to be tourist sites, and then they just started making money off the false idea. But if you look up anything, that's why scholars and people that study the Bible, they'll tell you, if you can show me the burial site to anybody that's in this book, they'll give you excess amount of money. That's why, Umar can say that. That's why certain people can say that, because they already studied it and they already know that these were allegories based off of the body fully made whole. There wasn't no real physical story or physical journey of this. No one can actually tell you the land of the Bible. No one can tell you, the actual land structure or the land mass of the Bible or any of that, because it was distorted for a reason. The stories was manipulated for a reason. So that's why, it is what it is. But yeah, we could definitely use the funding out here with everything that we have going on. Keeping the internet, the animals, all that stuff, and still trying to be able to find time to bring you guys knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Like I say, I'm grateful that the universe gives me the ability to be able to do so much, and at the same time, like I'm grateful for you guys. Like I'm grateful for you guys, the collective, the people who be in the Discord. It keeps me coming back. It keeps reminding me that humanity, is worth saving. Like I think sometimes we have to remind each other that we are worth it, collectively, because it's not seen in the world. So sometimes like you have to be the one that reminds people that we are worth it. When you're not seeing the change, sometimes you have to be the change to see the change, right? So I think a lot of times that this happens, we take a lack of foreshadowing, and shout out to all of my black sheeps of the family. If you're a black sheep of the family, shout out to you. This is truly, all the things that we are in right now is dedicated to you, because even though family push you out, even though friends push you away, you still believed in the world. You still, you still had hope for the world, right? So, shout out to all the black sheeps who kept on going back, thinking that they can put the family back together. Shout out to all the black sheep who kept on giving their family second chances after second chances, only to get, done wrong and fucked over and over again. You don't realize that in those moments you were turning the other cheek. Every time you walk back into the furnace, every time you walk back into danger, every time you walk back into those households, every time you went back to grandma's house, every time you went back to mommy's house, you were being that, you were being the returning son, or daughter, not to take away from, my women out there. It starts with you, your purpose, operating love, moving. Yes, yes. It all starts with self. You have to, a journey of even Socrates said that, was it Socrates? Yeah, a journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step. And Socrates said the secret to change is giving the focus to the you want to be. You right? So some of us got to give focus to the us we want to be, not the us that we was. Planet Anubaru should be visible now in the sky. We should be able to see it. I mean, our stomachs, our appetites, our digestive system should be, basically letting us know that the planet is close, because our food should be digesting a lot faster when we sleep. So we should be waking up a lot more famished. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people should be waking up a lot more famished. That our digestive system should be speeding up while we sleep because that planet is so close to us. It really affects our dream state more than anything, and the crystals. But who knows? That's why the solar flares and everything takes place 3 a.m. and when everybody's sleeping, because that's when it's the quietest. You know what I mean? Your mind is when you're connected to the consciousness of the verse is your dream state. They say your brain is broken up into 3 different states, and all states need its recommended time. So you got the conscious, subconscious, and dream state. So the subconscious would be like the carnal mind, you know what I mean? And then the conscious would be your intellectual mind. And then, your dream state. They say if you after 72 hours, your dream state will start bleeding into your reality to where though you'll start seeing shadow people, so on and so forth. Because of that. You know what I mean? So like that's how like you need that sleep state. You need that sleep state, so on and so forth. So but you also need, like right now, our body is fighting because we don't recognize the spirit inside of ourselves. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people fight with the spirit inside of themselves so much that they create an outside aberration of that spirit that's fighting inside themselves. Then when they start saying, man, something is fucking with shit around here. Because your reality is only your perception. That's why when they tell you about EMFs and they tell you about like ghost files and stuff like that, they tell you that it'd be the negative tension that creates these things, right? But really, it's the energies that the two people is creating in the atmosphere that is creating a lower vibration of their self that they soon will meet. You get what I'm saying? When you create a higher vibrational frequency of yourself, the higher vibration puts you in directions of good things. You get what I'm saying? So like when you are vibrating at a high frequency and you're creating that higher, you're connecting to the higher servitude of yourself, it's going to introduce you to, You know what I'm saying? It's going to create the directional path of good. Like, so out of nowhere, you'll get a phone call. Where that phone call come from? Damn, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Or out of nowhere, you know, somebody will pop up out of nowhere, you know, because the higher version of yourself is directing you into the higher vibrational good life, if you say, you know what I mean? Now, when you creating worry, doubt, fight or flight, always in competition with other people, always saying stuff like, you know, better me than them, better them than me, better, you know what I mean? Like you competing with other people. Not only are you getting your in your thoughts, you're getting in the way of other people's ascension. You get what I'm saying? This is why I control my conversation. People say I'm wrong and I'm rude, but this is why I cut people off at certain points in conversations, because I know the variations of conversations that's going to interfere with your ascension process. You get what I'm saying? People that go around and question God or question God within inside their self, they'll go around and ask other people questions like, so what's your thoughts on Jesus? Listen, just because you fighting the Jesus inside of you, don't mean you about to put me in a fight with a Jesus inside of me. You know what I mean? So hey, listen, your perspective is yours, but you got to go on that. You know what I mean? So this is why I guard like my mind when it comes to conversations. I know that I can take whatever conversation is taking place, right? But when you are, I'm not going to say responsible, but when you are in a collective, right? You're in charge of that collective. You get what I'm saying? So now you're not governing your words for yourself. You're governing your words for the sake of that collective. Let's not talk about that because I know how it's going to put other people, right? I'm not saying that I can't deal with the conversation. I'm not saying that I'm not ready for the conversation. I'm just saying I know how other people are going to feel if that conversation is to take place. You know, this is why when you hear us talk, or when you hear me talk to people on TikTok, when they say something that affects the feminine energy in the body, what do I say? Hold on now, because now you're about to piss a lot of women off, because I felt that. I felt that affect the feminine energy of my vessel. So I felt those words hit that. And one thing for sure, the feminine energy is a defensive energy. The feminine energy be like, what you say? They'll stop focusing on the whole logical point of the conversation. Everything else is out the window. They like, and they'll let you finish talking and everything, no matter how long that shit goes. They'll let you finish talking and everything, and they'll be like, did I hear you say, yo, that was 5 minutes ago? There was so many other points that was made, you know, after that. But it was I heard you say, did you just say women is the problem? Did you say that? It's like, no, I said women is the root of all evil. What? Motherfucker. What? Oh, hell no. You hear this, ladies? Y'all will rally the troops quick. Y'all will rally the troops quick. And it don't matter. It don't matter if y'all right, wrong, got misconstrued. Other women is gonna come along and be like, what she say? You said that to her? Oh, hell no. Nah. And it don't matter if you like, no, she took it wrong. She took it wrong. Fuck that. If she said you did it, you did it. Not the same with men. Not the same. A woman come along, put on a soft voice, your own dad will start looking at you fucked up. No. Because if that pretty lady said you said, I'm your son. I'm just saying, because she don't look like she had no reason to lie. But I do. You get what I'm saying? Like, so when it comes to like who can put together a nation, who can get an army, this is why they took Aphrodite ass out of the war. This is why they said, fuck no. She out here throwing coochie at people, making them fucking give her alliances and shit. She got motherfucker. This is why the wrath of Athena ran through Italy and all of that shit, because they said, hell no, we got to change your name. You was no longer the goddess of war and love. You just pick one, motherfucker. Just here. Hey, you just the goddess of love. Fuck that shit. You cannot have both. Venus, motherfucker. Venus, get your ass. You just Aphrodite now, nigga. You got the fall from that shit. For real. She started going in a different orbit in the sky. Venus is one of two planets that don't orbit like everybody else.
She's rebellious.
Yes.
Oh.
She one of those. She one of those. They said, you know what? Fuck that. You got the fall. They put Venus and Aphrodite and said, that's who the fuck you is. Love. Just be love. Focus on that. This war shit. She fucks shit up. When I say she fucks shit up, she fucks shit up.
And destroy it.
Think about it. Even in the story of how Aphrodite was created, she was created because somebody genital parts was cut off and thrown into the ocean, and then out came Aphrodite out of that. Motherfucker. What? Yeah. Kronos's mom convinced him to take out the dad because the dad was, using his, parts to, he wasn't being loyal to the mom, basically. You know what I mean? So she was like, your dad's that. None of the other kids wanted to do it. The same story with Zeus. You know what I mean? Remember, Zeus, he ate the first two. And then Zeus convinced him to throw up his brothers, and then the three took over, right? But the story before that's Kronos, you know what I mean? Zeus, Aphrodite, all of that stuff, right? So Aphrodite, Kronos cut the member off and threw it into the ocean. Aphrodite was born out of that. Is the story? The story is in our sky. The story is etched in our sky. Everything like that, all the way to Hercules and the Draco holding the longest serpent, which is the draconian serpent, so on and so forth. It's mimicked in the sky. It's mimicked down here on this plane. Even with our land mass, the story is mimicked. This is why we have the pillars of Hercules and the entry point to the Mediterranean Sea being at the pillars of Hercules. And they also try to say that the entry point to Atlantis might be at that pillar. But they destroyed the pillars and all types of monuments that etched out as above, so below. So they destroyed anything down here that was a resemblance of as above, so below. But they still kept the as above, so below. But they just etched out like all the wars that took place up there and shit like that when Mars was battling, when all of that stuff. Now Uranus is one of the other planets that goes in the same direction, and it's known as the heavenly planet. Yeah, Venus and Uranus. Yep, and that comes with the Lilith energy. That's why it's good to know this stuff, because once you realize that your body is operating on these planetary alignments, these energetic things that's coming from the planet, if you study Saturn and you see the two that Saturn come with, you'll see that it's based off of the stories that we know about the Baphomet, Luciferian energy, and so on and so forth, right? Satan, Saturn rules the bowels, why we have bowel movements, all of that, right? So if you read the stories, you can see the alignments of it with the body, right? So right now you will see the alignment with the vessel as men are operating as the humble son. So they're being very submissive right now. All men are being suckers to women right now. And they're letting women lead them in all different types of directions that's destroying them. That's why you see them out of control online, not being able to control their feelings and emotions, and women driving them wild. Women are operating with the Lilith energy, and they're like, yeah, I'm a rule, bow down, not controlling that energy that's coming in, right? So you have the feminine energy that's coming into the vessel, which is a takeover rulership type energy. I know it is because I feel it inside my vessel. You know what I mean? And I combat it. You know what I mean? And then you have the humble son. These, if you look up Uranus, this is how you know we're in the time of Aquarius. Because if you look up Uranus comes with these two energies, a humble son, and is known as the heavenly planet. So it comes with the humble sun energy, and then it comes with the energy of Lilith. Right? Mm-hmm. When you look up Lilith comes with a list of shit. She comes Medusa, is so many different names that comes with that Lilith energy, because there's so many different low demonic energies that comes with Lilith. And a lot of people are operating in this. That's why that's why the Bible said the meek and the harlot should inherit the earth. That's why the Bible says that the earth is your body. And right now, the meek, which is the humble son, and the harlot, which is the prostitute that sit by the waters, should inherit the earth. That's what the Bible says. It says in the book of Revelation, in this time, the meek and the harlot should inherit the earth, right? And you're watching that right now. You're watching that take place right now inside your body. You might not feel it, you might want to deny it, but this is taking place. This has nothing to do with the form that you're in. I don't care if you're in the form of a man. I don't care if you're in the form of a woman. I am not talking about that. I am not talking about man or woman. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the energies that exist inside the vessels of the four beasts on this plane, right? Those energies are awakened. That's all I'm saying. Song break. Song break.
I'm not allowed to say murder, you killed him. I've got to say rape for sexual assault. I want to say murder.
Burger.
You killed him, but I'm gagged and it ain't my fault. Can't talk, 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 can't talk. I know the truth is hard to swallow, but these rules we need to follow. Omission still allow you be in trouble if you don't comply. What about freedom? God-given freedom. I'm talking about freedom. Freedom from Babylon. Murder, you killed him. Rape for sexual assault.
They listen. That's why I say, like, you got to get into the book of Revelations right now. If you want to, like, if you want to learn about what's going on right now, get into the book of Revelations. The book of Revelations tells you that he who rises above the carnal nature will not experience the second unaliving. The reason why it says the second unaliving is because technically we all already went through our first unaliving process. We all already went through our first unaliving process. You don't remember, you might not know about it, but the time that you exit your father and entered your mother was considered the first unaliving process. And you can go to a gynecologist right now, and the gynecologist will tell you that a man's sperm can stay inside of a woman for up to 3 days. Ironically, that is the same story of Christ being in the cave or the womb. That is the same story of the cave that is talked about in the Quran when it says that they were in the cave. This is the womb. This is the Bethlehem. So when you look up the word Bethlehem, you will see that Bethlehem means house of bread, right? And, you know, Christ is represented as the bread, and your bread basket is considered to be your stomach, which is also known as the womb, right? So this is the womb that is in mankind, and it's not just in women, it is in men too. This is why they have certain levels of corruption in the industry. This is why certain people tell you that, you know, Diddy was infusing his soul to people, right? By entering, you know, the anal cavity. There's a chakra system that people, you know, can enter through the anal cavity when you put your secretion inside the vessel, so on and so forth. This shit was always deeper than what y'all was letting on. And we were pointing this out. If we can go back to Instagram real quick, I'll show you guys on my Instagram. We've been told y'all that this was a spiritual battle. We've been pointed this out. If you look back, way back, we've been told y'all when they was grifting on spirituality, we said, all right, enough is enough. And that's what truly brought us over here, because we seen Jaguar and them grifting with spirituality, trying to say that they were doing you know, Ascension, and she was doing off-world DNA, and That's when we was over on TikTok like, no, fuck no, hell no. We is not going into the Aquarius sky with this level of falsity. Fuck no. And that's when we started pointing shit out. That's when we came over here. Y'all kept on saying, what is he over here for? I said, Jaguar is the best specimen to point out. The best specimen, right? And even when we went back and pointed out Ronnie Bo for scamming. All of this. Listen to how he's trying to clean up his lies. First, he said that he was going to pay for the court fees out of his book royalties, but he's giving his book away for free. And now he mad because he lied on federal documents. And now he's upset that people expose the fact that he's lying on federal documents. So this is how he's trying to clean it up. Listen to him.
Deceased are on the run, and they said because I asked the court to waive the fee because I couldn't afford it at the time, and they assumed that I got money and that I committed perjury by lying and saying that I couldn't afford it, which I really couldn't afford to pay the fee at the time. So they wrote the judge and said that I want to report this dude for fraud, and I'm assuming that that audience also did the same thing. They not only wrote the judge, they wrote.
Like we've been pointing all of this out. We've been over here speaking on all of this, and right here, this is December 26th. Right here, this was their big, Jaguar spirituality. Well, no, not this backdrop. I don't think this was the backdrop. Let me see. Right here. Right here, they did a spirituality thing. And we were like, hell no, this is not spirituality. This is what I was telling you guys about. When I said that they was going to try to paint her to be a false light worker, starseed, right? This is what they're doing. They're putting out a false light. You see it say awakening, off-world DNA results. You see it says that off-world DNA results, awakening, right? And they use terms that was related to spirituality, different dimensions inside the body, and they painted it out to have a carnal picture. They painted it out to be like, oh, these type of creatures, they bite their teeth and they da-da-da-da-da, and they grind their teeth. This was December 21st. December 21st. We've been over here pointing out demons. That's all we've been over here doing is pointing out these demonic entities. Y'all can deny what it is that y'all want to see. Hell, y'all can give the credit to other people. We don't even care that y'all giving the credit to other people. Y'all know what we over here doing.
Nigga been fighting a whole lot of demons. A lot of shit we do gonna have consequences, but we gotta be ready for them. Emergency, I just got out of surgery. I'm having problems with my heart and it won't work.
I did some shit in my past and it's cursing me.
I'ma stay right here for this plastic, God take breath from me. I'm sipping his hand and eat this pain, but it ain't helping.
My little nigga going against the grain and that's just stressing me. I pray to God that God have mercy. I'm living a crazy life. I just shot at the nigga from talking shit on the game and paid the price.
I was young and the rest for the money, my hunger for paper is saving my life. And that shit can save tonight. If you wanna live shit, we can get rich, we can get paid tonight.
Dollar bill, y'all.
Everybody want the money, everybody want this shit.
Everybody want the money, but don't wanna go down.
I'll do anything to get it, but when you gonna go out there? Shit, gotta think about it.
187.
Murder by you killed
the nigga, you don't know if you gon' go to heaven.
Gotta chalk that shit over, dog. Real talk. Hey,
fight my demons, so many demons. Me against these demons.
Fight my demons, fighting mine. It's me against these demons. Me against these
so many demons.
Whoa,
Whoa,
I'm fighting these demons up in this ghost. I'm
ghost.
fighting these demons, I'm on the ropes. They came with
Hitting
a
the
beam
spleen.
up under my coat. Get hit in the
Hitting the
spleen
beam.
if you want to smoke. That
That
money be
money be
green, so
clean.
niggas on go. I'm living so clean, I used to be broke.
Remember they laughed at me.
Gave him the ball, and nigga they choke. Tables turn, that nigga you go. My little nigga don't follow no code. Follow
No code.
no code. My
My
niggas
niggas follow me like a
I
pope.
stand on my word and stand by the consequence. They say I'm heartless, thanks for the compliment. I seen your dead homie, yelling company. VMG gang, and bitch feel incompetent. Don't wanna hear that shit. The kid, that shit lethally militant. I can get ignorant, we not considerate. Niggas do silly shit, we get the drilling shit. Guilty and innocent. Don't give a fuck about my bystander. I can pull up in the Highlander. Don't take no slander. Don't take no slander. Dollar bill, y'all. Everybody want the money, everybody want this shit.
Everybody want the money, but don't wanna go down.
Don't do anything to get it, but when you gon' go down? Shit, gotta think about it.
187.
Murder by
You killed the nigga, you don't know if you gon' go to heaven.
Gotta chalk that shit over, God, real talk. Hey.
Fight my demons, fight my demons.
So many demons. Me against these demons. Against these demons.
Fight my demons,
Fight my demons.
fighting my.
It's me against these demons. Me against these demons. Living life encased in the idea that my evil thoughts go unpunished. As I sort through the rubbish, my days of thugging get slow and ruggish. Idolizing puppets who control the public like a controlled substance.
Fight my demons.
Bullets in abundance, anticipating what I know is coming. All of a sudden, my past is blurring, my future is sudden. Dark and muddy, hoping for sunny, I'm still running.
To find peace.
Find peace.
So y'all already know we've been over here fighting these demons, man. Come on.
That's filled on negativity, destruction, and so on and so forth. And they're making you think that this is an ascendant master come back to teach us and so on and so forth, but it's not. And the fact that they're playing in our face right now only lets you know that the ascension process is that much realer. But let's listen. You see what it says? Off-world DNA results, right? Now, they tell her she has like, avion and all these other things that we literally talk about over here. And they're painting a false light around her. And listen to what she says.
No status, that ain't me. It ain't never been me. Ain't gonna be me. I don't have a problem with what I am. They have a problem with what I am.
See? They are trying to make money off of the ascension process. The same thing that Christ went in the church and got mad about. These are carnal beings that literally do everything for money. Their God is a money God. And they're sitting here trying to take the ascension. This is what I was.
So yeah, we've been over here pointing this out. We've been over here pointing out this falsity. We've been over here, exposing them. And it ain't gonna stop.
So guys, this is what I was talking about right here. You remember when I said that during the ascension process, they put a bunch of false lights out there so you can get misdirected? And what is the ascension process? Well, this is how you know that the ascension process is real. They are trying to paint Jaguar Wright as an ascendant master. Now, I want y'all to think about this. Nothing that Jaguar Wright said is of the ascension. She don't talk about chakra systems. She don't talk about the alignment. She don't talk about any of this stuff. But this person up here, right, is trying to make it seem like she has a Ascension Academy, right? The same person whose family is a part of a pedo ring, right? She's trying to make us think Jaguar Wright, who literally just put this outfit on, this crystal, she never wears that. This dress she got on, even the Muhammad hat she got on representing Islam, right? She went and put on as much, stuff she can to try to look like a spiritual person. So guys, this is.
So we've been over here pointing out the imposter spirits. We've been over here pointing out, their levels of fuckery. We've been over here pointing out, the bullshit. And it ain't gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. We've seen Ronnie Bow with some of our peoples. We're gonna say they're some of our peoples, Golden and Lady Nafisa, and we're gonna say like they might not know or been here long enough to know the history of Ronnie Bow and everything that he was up to. And I didn't want to take away from her interview, by coming up, because I still got questions, regarding the whole Atwoods thing, regarding, why if he called you the N-word in November, why did you still do a Christmas special with him? Why did you, show these people your kids, so on and so forth? Why did you have this lady read this?
I'll tell
that you want to let out, Little Dirk and so on and so forth. So there was too many questions that are unanswered around this particular persona. But I respected the fact that they had the interview, respected the fact that, whatever it is that they were going to talk about, they were going to talk about. But for him to go up there and still try to talk about, paint himself as Christ and still keep on talking about, they won against Jesus like they won against me. You're still doing the same fuckery. The last time we seen you was up there talking about pimps and how you started paying more to the hoes than the average pimp was paying. And that's how you end up getting all these hoes. So I'm sorry. I can't be fake. I can't do it. Right. So I show love and everything, but I just exit because I can't be fake. You can't put me around these people and expect me not to. It's some shit that took place. You know what I'm saying? The whole falsification around the GM shirt, right? He know that's a get money, grind mode, whatever, but he put it around God Mafia or Goddess Mafia, or God Mob or whatever, right? So he was already putting a lot of falsities out there, right? So I'm not going to sit there and lie to the public and say that this is a good person. I don't give a fuck what type of face he wear. I don't give a fuck if he do look like a 17-year-old. I'm not about to sit there and tell people this is a good person so he can get back into the sector and start griping and doing the same shit to people again. Remember, he was with the shit when it came to December 26th, him pretending like he was missing, right? And for 2 days, they held a 12-hour, 24-hour live where they grifted people's energy and money. You know what I mean? So, no, I got questions. I'm not putting myself in front of people who we already know was fucking over our people. This dude want to let out a drug dealer and someone who's unaliving people, right? This dude literally tells you he's on perk 30s. You know what I mean? He's telling you what the fuck, why he want these people out. These his suppliers. He's got his nephew in the gang, GD, right? He reps GD, right? Y'all giving credit to the wrong fucking people. Y'all trying to make us praise the wrong fucking people. Y'all trying to make us idolize the wrong fucking people. This is a fucking gang member who's pretending to be righteous or pretending to be of God. This is bullshit. Y'all know it's bullshit. Everybody that's involved with the bullshit know it's bullshit. So fuck y'all. And fuck the image that y'all want to try to paint around this person. We don't give a fuck. We want righteous people to look up to. Don't try to reshuffle the deck and bring back the same fuckeries. No. Give us new fucking people. Give us new people to idolize. We want righteous people, real intellect. We don't want this falsity. We don't want to be, oh, I came out with books. No, ChatGTP came out with those books. You stole the idea from me and Donat about, Atwood's trying to colonize our people. And then you went and ran and made a fucking book about it. You were sitting at the table with these people, showing these people your kids, breaking bread with these people after Ron Slauson called you the N-word. You still was at their table. December 25th. He called you the N-word November 30th. You was at their table. Don't play in our face.
So y'all tell me this makes sense. Please tell me if this makes sense or not. This is Ronnie Bowe. Ronnie Bowe is supposedly, he was locked up with R. Kelly, and he spent time with R. Kelly, and he's advocating for R. Kelly. Ronnie Bowe got on the Sean Atwood show today, right? After all the controversy that's around him, and he decides to write a letter to President-elect Trump, right? Now, I want y'all to know, this is like some fifth grade, classroom stuff where you tell your fifth grade students, hey, write a letter to your president, and so on and so forth. So he gets on the Sean Atwood show, and he literally writes a letter to President Trump, right? And this is what he writes in the letter. He's asking President Trump to free Little Dirk and NBA Youngboy, two people that are beefing with each other and are literally like unaliving people. This person, he's going down for, creating mass unalivings in Chicago. This person's gone down for impersonating a doctor, getting pills and scripts. These are the people that. So y'all tell me this.
So yeah, so I can't. I mean, hey, listen, man, it comes to a point, man. I'm not going to let these people play in our face. I'm not going to let these people play with the collective. We put this together, the Atlas family, you know what I mean? And we got to continue to, protect the collective that we, are gathering, that we have around us. You know what I mean?
So, guys,
it was just so much going on back in December. Around these different personas when they was playing in our face. They were at the table with the same people that was corrupting our community. They were, sitting at the table with the same people that was, they was laughing at us. They was laughing at us. And like, oh yeah, Ron, oh yeah, yeah, we did that. And ha ha, shout out to the Atlas family. We're gonna sit at the table again and do it all again. This is fucking bullshit. He was, thick as thieves with them come December 25th. Everybody was thinking about making trips. He was introducing his kids and shit.
Now, tell me this is not weird.
It's weird
that
shit.
Ronnie Bowe
this was the Christmas special right here.
On the Sean Atwood show, right here. Atwood, who literally was in trouble with the pedophilia ring, right? And look at Jaguar right there. None of these people are inside the continent of America, right? Why would you put your kid on here, and why would you show them just watch?
Freezer the night before.
Why would you do this?
It's all practice. So you all ready for Santa Claus, Ronnie? Santa Claus. Oh. And adorable. Adorable.
Is that not weird? Why would you show them the body size of your kid? Why is he showing them the body size of his kid?
So I'm the one that pointed that out. So no, I'm not going to sit there and let this person continue to play in the face of the multitude, continue to, and let's not forget the text that he got. And this is why he does the text now and the emails, because he sent a bunch of women on the back end, the can y'all send me $40, so on and so forth, because my girl put me out. And this was December 26th when he supposedly came up missing, and they did that whole 12-hour live on, Atwood's page, where they grifted for money for him because he was missing, and everybody was like, oh, where's Ronnie Slow at, and blah, 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 playing in our fucking faces.
Look at this. Now they're trying to say that Ronnie Bo is haven't been heard from in 2 days, and they're doing these lives about him now. I just want to let y'all know this is energy harvesting right here. When you try to put, because they could have easily went to the police, but they didn't, right? They decided to get on the internet and put these falsified things out there like, oh, this person received a text message from Ronnie Bo saying that, he needs $40, and then a bunch of other people received this text message too, right? So Jaguar tells people on her page, right, that they're looking for Ronnie Bo. Who saw Ronnie Bo, right? And then she tells the people over there, hey, go over to Sean Atwood's. We're going to get Beverly to do a remote search for Ronnie Bo. This is energy harvesting. So she takes the people that's on her page, and then she pushes their attention onto his page, where they harvest the energy and feed off of the attention of the energy. This is energy vampires. Listen.
Wow.
Trick no good. Trick no good. It's playing that sound in the background. We don't need nobody trying to strike us for any fucking thing, not even for a split second. Will you not? You will not. We've been pointing all these people out. We know they don't like us. We know they don't fuck with us. We don't fuck with y'all either. We ain't about to pretend in y'all face, smile in y'all face like we fuck with y'all. We don't like what y'all did to the collective. We don't like that y'all playing on people's feelings and emotions. We don't like that y'all manipulating people. We don't like it. We don't like it. We stand for what's right. Fuck all that other shit. We stand for what's right. That's it. That's all. Right? That's why we got all these receipts. That's why we keep the receipts. That's why the receipts keep receipting. Because we got them on file for y'all, fuck niggas. We got them on file for y'all. We know that y'all gonna try to disappear for a little bit, then pop back up on a new group. We know that. We know that's what y'all gonna do. We know that y'all gonna try to go away for a while and then pop back up like y'all are whole. Oh no, I don't know none of that. We know that. Y'all playing on the fact that people don't have good memories, and a lot of people wasn't here for the shenanigans. That's what y'all playing on. The new people that wasn't here for the fuck shit, for the fuck nigga shit that y'all was doing. No, you played on good, wholesome people. You played on them. You had these women out here thinking that they had a chance with you. You created a fallout talking about something. Yeah, they didn't like all the attention I was getting from the ladies. Get your ass out of here, Ronnie Slow. We remember. Do you remember? Do you remember the time when we fell in love? Do you remember the time? Them sweet memories. Ronnie Slow ass up out of here, man, playing in our face. And that's not no shade to Golden and them. Shout out to them for, getting the interview. Shout out to Golden and, Nafisa for getting the interview, him popping back up, whatever the case may be. I really didn't stay long for too much of the conversation after he started talking about, trying to play the victim, make it seem like people attacked him and so on and so forth, whatever the case may be. So I pretty much didn't stay for that. They was trying to, talk about spirituality. I don't know if he was the right person for it. I don't think he's, equipped with the knowledge for a talk of that magnitude. So yeah, he still kept the same narrative, and when my brother died, nobody want to hear you tell the same story about how you could have beat up R. Kelly and because he didn't do this and we don't want to hear you tell the same damn story over and over again. We didn't need you to come back to YouTube and tell that reanimated fucking story. Inquiring minds got questions. When you ready to answer the real questions, you'll pop up in the right spaces. You trying to go to spaces that you know because you ducking them right spaces. You ducking the spaces that's not afraid to ask you the right questions. You keep on playing to women and trying to go in front of the women because you know they not going to ask you the right questions. You know, bring your ass around here, Ronnie Slow. Bring your ass over here, Ronnie Slow. I got questions that I bet you they not going to ask you. You know, like, why are you raising your nephew to be a gang member? That's what I want to ask you. Why is your nephew throwing up pitchforks representing the gang? But you in here talking about God. You on YouTube talking about God, but you raising your nephew to be a gangster. Make it make sense. Nobody want to hear your story about how you've been selling substances since you was 11 years old or been introduced to the streets since you was 11. We don't give a fuck about none of that. I've been on my own since I was 13. I'm not crying and bitching about it. You 40-something plus years old. Stop crying about, That's why you go to them women and do that shit. That's why you get on them ladies panels and do that shit. Because they favor them sad stories. It's easy to trauma bond with a group of women, ain't it, Ronnie Slow? Get your ass up out of here, man. Get your ass up out of here. And we took the Atlas family over there to support that. I'm telling you right now, Atlas family, we do not support Ronnie Slow. We support Golden and Lady Nafisa, but we don't support Ronnie Slow. Fuck that. You played for money just like Atwoods, just like Ron and them. You played for money. You played your people for money just like them, just like Jaguar. You played us for funds. You played us for currency. Nigga, you can't come back and try to make it seem like it was something different. No, we watched you do it. We watched you. So no, we don't need you in the sector no more. We working too hard to clean up this sector to let your ass seat back in it. No, fuck that. We work too hard to clean up this sector for your ass to seat back in it with your bullshit. We don't give a fuck if you got a baby's face. That might work for them, but that shit don't work for me. That shit is not logic. You can do all that. Oh man, you can look as cute as you want to motherfucking look. You can look as cute as a baby. You can look as cute as a button. We don't give a fuck. We don't care. On my dead brother. On my dead brother. We don't give a fuck. And we know you was on something when you was sitting on that panel. We seen that did it. Your ass had to catch your breath. You wasn't even doing nothing. You were just sitting there and your ass lost. You forgot to breathe. You was fried on that damn panel. Your ass was just sitting there and you forgot to breathe. He was sitting there like, then he said, nigga, did you just forget to breathe? It wasn't even your moment to talk. What the fuck is you on? Trying to remember not to lick your lips or grind your teeth. That's the motherfucking ecstasy pills or something. He got some of that pink shit over there. He got some of that pink shit over there. That shit that Diddy had. Don't play in our face, my boy. We play a lot of games, but you ain't about to play in our face. I don't give a fuck. That's why we didn't come up on the panel, because we ain't want to disrespect Golden in them panel. Because I promise you, if I would have came up, inquiring minds want to know. Huh? Inquiring minds want to know. You know? We got questions like, hey, did you refill your script for them perk third? That's the shit that we want to ask you. We want the public to know who the fuck you is. We want them to know that they dealing with an addict that drank and pop pills all day. We want the public to know who you is, Ronnie Bo. Don't motherfucking come over here, because we going to ask the real questions. Don't bring your ass this way, because we going to ask the real shit. We want the public to know. And y'all are not about to keep on playing in our face. Y'all ain't about to keep on giving us these motherfucking addict idols and shit. These motherfucking unks and aunties and shit. No. If y'all trying to give us motherfucking real people to look up to, don't give us these fraudulent ass creatures. We don't want these fraudulent ass creatures to look up to. This is not what we idling. Fuck that. We said shuffle the deck. We should see some new cards coming off of the deck. Y'all ain't about to put the same fucking people back in our face. No. No. Fuck that. Hell no. Yeah. Y'all make sure y'all support. Nah, we don't give a fuck. We don't care how much y'all taught him or how well y'all trained him or whatever the fuck y'all did. We don't care. We don't want him. We don't want him. And you know, you do look as nice as you want to motherfucking look. You know, put your brand on, sell your brand, all of that good shit. We don't give a fuck. We don't care. And I'm gonna tell you why we don't care. You didn't care when you played in our face with the Atwoods Network. You didn't care, you know, you didn't. The only thing, things went south when they didn't repeat your story. When Beverly didn't repeat your story. When Ron and them told you that they didn't want to push the narrative to let out, you know, Lil Durk or whoever, right? That's when you got mad at them, right? Because you wanted the petition to get Lil Durk out, you know, gang shit. You know what I mean? You ain't worried about you using the people to get gang shit. You using the civilians. So we say fuck you. All right? We say fuck you. You ain't doing nothing positive for us. You ain't making a better way for us. You're not. You're not. And you keep playing in our face. You ain't even being honest. You trying to play in the people's faces that don't know your fuckery, don't know your bullshit. You forget. You made that phone call on Ratchet TV's panel where you called your own parole officer and started cursing him out. You know, you did that where you called your parole officer and started cursing him out, said that you was taking I took all the classes that they wanted me to take. Your parole officer said it on the phone that you got mental health issues. And you was like, so what? I did what I was supposed to do. Your parole officer told us that you on 30s. You think we about to put the faith of humanity? What? Man, you might as well go get Tyrone Biggums. You might as well go get motherfucking Tyrone Biggums and bring his ass out here. At least he was honest. Is one thing you don't know about me, Joe Roden. I smoke crack. At least he was honest. You know, I'd rather deal with an honest addict than this mother sucker. This is a motherfucking addict just pretending to be something. And he goes to the liquor store and he drinks. Yeah, he's on some Pastor Cavassier. Everybody sing it now. We don't want you back. No, I'm not saying like that he was the only attractive guy. I'm not saying that there's not many attractive guys on YouTube. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the reason why is because he was attractive. I'm saying that we don't need him back in this sector, you know, grifting, doing whatever he do, because that's not what we trying to clean up and get away from the people that's doing this stuff, that's playing on other people, that's using other people, that's manipulating other people's energy. We trying to get away from that. If y'all gonna give us some honest men, we don't give a fuck about no appeal or attraction. We want honest men. That's it. Y'all don't want honest men, ladies? What y'all want? What y'all gotta favor honest men. Y'all gotta favor intelligent men. Y'all favoring the wrong because he a dealer, because he got drugs, because he a pimp. What the fuck favor do y'all see in that? What favor do y'all see in him? Besides the fact that he's black and y'all like, oh, because he's black. No, fuck that. Black seem to be getting us in trouble all the time. I want right. I don't want black. I want right. Fuck that. I'm not about to just give him the benefit of the doubt just because he's black. It be the ones that's close to you that'll do the most to you. We keep giving him the benefit of the doubt. My people, my people, my people. Don't give a fuck about his people. He don't give a fuck about his people. He see green. That's it. He's a Martian. Stop making it seem like he care about people. Y'all fucking up this world by giving y'all attentions to the wrong people, the fraudulent people. He fraudulent, he fake. Y'all see it. I don't know how else to point it out. I don't know what else to say. Like, we got to do this collectively. We got to start giving our attention to the right people. We got to, have integrity. That's what it's about, having integrity. I'm not building around that. I want good people. Man, if y'all ain't hear that they love you, I love you. Let me say that. Love is love. You know where we gonna be. We going to the Discord. We gonna go to the Discord for a little bit. Hey, listen, if anybody wanna, hold on, I gotta end TikTok because TikTok don't let you say it. Hit the Cash App. Hit the Cash App if you want to donate. $5, $10 for the knowledge and wisdom that we putting out. Feel free. Hit the Cash App. Love is love. Namaste. Ashe. Salutation. Salam. Peace. Yeah, I hope everybody have a great day. I hope that we provided some, information for you today that gives you some insight. I hope you got a grander understanding of life today. And everything is beautiful. Everything is going to work itself out. We got some kinks to work out. We all got kinks to work out. But, the truth is coming to the light and we all standing in it. So, I appreciate anybody that do send in a donation. If you don't got it, I appreciate the thought. Hey, Golden, keep doing your thing over there. Keep bringing the right people to the panel. It was a great conversation last night as far as, just having, people on the panel and bringing people to the panel and everything. So you guys did great. You and Lady Nafisa looked it beautiful. Keep doing y'all thing. I'm glad that y'all are co-hosting and, doing y'all thing over there. So keep growing your page. However it works. Love is love. Hold on. What is it saying? You're live. What? Why I say live on Spotify? They did a cassette tape. Look, they did a cassette tape of the thing.
Oh wow,
to
I
promote.
like it.
And now might sell cassette tapes.
I like it though. I made a CD and nobody uses CDs anymore, right? Dude?
They said we made a picture to promote your latest. See, it's a cassette tape picture. That's funny. That's cool though. That's cool.
We reach for the sky. Oh, oh, oh. See what you're doing, baby, and I can't get behind it. See what you're doing, baby, and I can't get behind it.
Yeah, but that's why I didn't come up.
You hate with your whole chest, baby. You remind me of a little green man looking like slime. So mad that they love me, they love me.
But that's why I didn't come up. That's why I didn't come up, Mama Warrior. That's why I didn't come up, because I know me. Like I would have probably asked some shit, just knowing, I know I would have asked him some shit. That's why I was like, nah, let the conversation go how it's gonna go. I know as soon as I would have came up, I'd have had some questions like, so was that whole missing in December thing a scam? Like, did y'all scam us with that whole Ronnie Bo is missing? Like, was you really in an interrogation room? Did some people really snatch you up? Was they really asking you questions about Jaguar Wright and the grit? Like, come on. We got some questions. We got some motherfucking questions. But that's neither here nor there.
See what you're doing, baby, and I can't get behind it. See what you're doing, baby, and I can't get behind it. You hate with your whole chest, baby, you remind me of a little green man looking like slime. So mad that they love me, they love me, they love me. Mad that they love me, they love me, they love me, they love me. Mad that they love me, they love me, they love me, they love me. We wanna vibe with love is love, and all you haters get left in the dust. So mad that they love me, they love me, they love me. Mad that they love me, they love me, they love me. Now you telling me to mind my business. When you started your channel to talk about other women, you love to throw a stone and then run and hide. Like it or not, you live your life online. And if I were you, I would wanna cry, cause it must be hard to have such a sad life. But that's not my business, so I'm moving on. And I know the one thing that you hate the most. We wanna vibe with love is love, and all you haters get left in the dust. So mad that they love me, they love me, they love me. Mad that they love me, they love me, they love me. This song's for you too, honey. We see what you're doing and we can't get behind it. We see what you're doing and we can't get behind it. Atlas holding us down while keeping us high. With the law of one, we reach for the sky. His arms so strong, the weight won't break. With every step, he helps us away. Move as one, moving in love. 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 Atlas eyes on the prize and it's crystal clear. Now we realize what brought us here.
Replay game.
It's hard,
Y'all know what to do, replay game.
it's our way.
Y'all know what to do, replay game.
Let's hope for a brighter day. Move as one, moving in love. 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 Reach for his hands, the stars align. Time bends softly, no dividing line. Together